What's up, everybody? Looks like we're live. Always a slight delay. So today we're going over Launchpads. A very interesting thing to go over. I think it'll definitely bring value. Will definitely raise some crypto IQ. Just waiting for our mic test real quick here. As soon as it pops on my phone, so I can make sure the microphone is working well. And yeah, welcome to Underground Crypto Deep Dive Research Show. Yesterday I thought the stream was great. A lot of engagement. A lot of people came over. All right, mic check complete. Happy with that. And let's move right on. So we have crypto bubbles up. So right off the bat, while people trickle in, let's take a look at what's going on in the market today. Bitcoin pumped a little bit, even though it was a little unsure this morning. So WIF is up 9.5%. MNT Mantle is up 6.5%. This is in the day. Pump.fun is down 9.3%. Arrow down 3.9%. Those were, I believe, were pumping yesterday. IMX, Filecoin. Nice to see Filecoin. What is it up to? $2.64. I wish it would double that. MYX up another 9.1%. They just won't leave this thing alone. It's up to $11.83. Interesting. And we'll check out the Fear and Greed Index. It says 52. We are back in neutral. We started moving towards greed, and now we kind of pulled back to the neutral. Everybody's waiting to see about these rate cuts tomorrow, right? Do we get a double rate cut? That would be pretty awesome. That would send the market definitely into an explosive rally. And we have Crypto Rank. Their Fear and Greed Index is at 52, so that's also really good to see. Let me just check something real quick for a moment. All right, and back to the show. So normally we go to what's trending, and we should really look at what Bitcoin's at for just a moment. We did change the live from 8:30 to 8, so I wonder if that's messing a few people up. So Bitcoin sitting at 116,815, very close to 117,000, up 4.8% in the last 7 days, up 1.3% in the last 24 hours. Why is that important? Well, because Bitcoin pretty much runs this market, and what it does, everything pretty much follows. Ethereum down to 4,500. Above 4,000, good to me, but it does look like it had kind of a pullback, down 0.4% today. XRP above that $3 mark at $3.04. Again, up 1.5% on the day. BNB 956, it is holding that higher position there, up 4% on the day, 8.9% in the last 7 days. Solana 236, Dogecoin 26, really 27 cents, just barely under 27 cents. Cardano 88 cents, Chainlink $23.49, Hyperliquid $54.41, SWI $3.60. And I think we will call it at that. Let's go take a look at what's trending. And where are all my people at? Must be taking people a minute to get over here. Okay, so Undead Games, I wrote that down. We looked at that yesterday. Undead Games was really interesting. We'll flash that up just for a second. $1.75, what did it do in the last 24 hours? Not a whole lot. Little pump, little dump, pumped again. Not a whole lot there, right? We'd almost call that sideways action. $178.6 million in its market cap. And the max chart says, how long has it been around? Not very long, right? May 1st, 2024. Okay, so longer than I thought. Ethereum contract. Let's check out their website. Reliable J, there you are, my man. Thanks for stopping by. We're going to be going over Launchpads today. Now, why would Launchpads be important? Why would we want to look at Launchpads? Well, Launchpads are one of the things that allow you to get in early before exchange listings, almost like you were a VC yourself. And some of them, if you stake the token of the Launchpad, even let you get in earlier, right? And secure your spot and able to get the coin earlier. So I think that that's very important. What did I just click on? Let's go back. Spin the wheel. So this is Undead. It's been trending. It says it's available on Steam, but really it's not quite launched yet. Just a beta version. And it looks kind of interesting, looks kind of fun. Fridays we do GameFi. So if you're into DeFi gaming and stuff like that, definitely check out the Friday live stream. That'll be at 8 p.m. New York time. And yeah, we went over this yesterday, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. We really just want to look at everything that is trending. So STBL, this is a new one on the radar. Man, I just made a reel about this and put it out a minute ago, and it's already gone up way more. So up 325% in the last 24 hours. It was up 284%. So that has already continued to move up. Very interesting there, with $62 million in its market cap. I just looked at this thing like an hour ago when I put a reel out, and it was at like 54 million. So it is climbing, and it's climbing fast, with a Binance Smart Chain contract address. And it is DeFi as our categories. Also has a stablecoin issuer. I think that is really interesting of a category, because what was the legislation, crypto legislation that just went through and got passed? It was all about stablecoins, who could issue them, who can't issue them, what it means if you're an issuer. I did put a pre-recorded video breaking down the Genius Act a little bit to make it a little more simpler to digest. If you haven't been following that, go watch that pre-recorded video. Anyways, go take a look at their website, because this thing is cooking. Oh yeah, by the way, it's a pretty brand new coin. If we go to its max chart, it's only September 16th, 2025, which is today. So it looks like this thing really launched today. Now, it might have been out a little bit a couple days before, but this is really taken off today. Now let's go to their website and check it out. So stablecoins reimagined. Now, to the average person who thinks about stablecoins, they don't go up in value, right? Not normally. They should stay at $1. So retail, not super excited. Now, when you're taking profits and you want to keep your profits and they not fluctuate with the crypto market, well, then you love stablecoins, right? So what does it mean to have a stablecoin reimagined? Use your principal, keep your interest. I don't know. Hopefully they're going to tell us. So right off the bat, they got the team right up front with, looks like real names. You know, sometimes they just give you like NFT profiles with fake names. It's about as useful as not telling us who the team is at all. But they didn't do that. They actually gave us pictures of real people, and we assume names to match. Hopefully these are real people. They could fake it, but it wouldn't take much for people to figure it out. And they got LinkedIn accounts there too. What USST does for you. So that must be the stablecoin, right? USST. Now, when they say a stablecoin issuer, are they going to be on the up and up with the regulator here in America? I have no idea. It does have a Binance Smart Chain contract, which is used a lot of times everywhere else. Instant liquidity, redeem USST anytime 1-to-1, as any good stable coin should be. Composable asset, mint, use and redeem USST, and your yields stay with you. Regulatory readiness, all right. Transparent reserve. So it looks like they're ahead of the curve here. And so how it works, I mean, we don't have to get into all that. It works like a stable coin. So it says stablecoin 2.0, stablecoin 1.0. It's really interesting. So STBL is decentralized stablecoin protocol that rewards the people who make it work. When users mint USST, they generate both principal and yield instantly, transparently, and without giving up control. If you're in here, hit that like button. Subscribe as well. Make sure you don't miss any streams. Hit that bell notification. All right. I feel like how entertaining can a stable coin be? I don't know, but this thing is pumping. So, and one last thing we'll do is look at their X and let's see how many followers they have. So 22.8 thousand. And it says July 2024 they joined. Okay. A lot of times they recycle an old Twitter, so it'll say like a much longer date than they've actually been around. So that is trending. We covered that. Avantis is definitely been pumping. Crypto Maniac, what's up, man? I appreciate you coming in. That's Crypto Maniac 1776. We're just looking at what's trending for the day before we start raising that crypto IQ with Launchpads. And I was just saying, I don't know if you were here, Crypto Maniac, Launchpads is a way to get in early on stuff before it hits exchanges. So I think it's definitely something you should know about, having your crypto, tool bag. Avantis has been pumping. Let's go to the max chart. Came out, looks like September 9th, 2025, ran all the way up to $1.44 from about 48 cents. It's up 107%. That's not really crazy, but this thing is just getting cooking. And what is Avantis, you might be wondering, with $268 million in its market cap already. It has a base blockchain ecosystem, or contract, you could say. DeFi. What other tags? Binance Alpha Spotlight. Also, the coin we just looked at, STBL, had that same ticker, which was Binance Alpha Spotlight. So Binance gives alpha and they spotlight certain coins. Apparently they've been good at picking them. Kind of reminds me of, what's the one that is always posted in Crypto Lifers Discord? Token Metrics. Lena, we've seen that thing pumping. It was a newer coin. I thought this was one that had been around a lot longer. 400 million in its market cap, but the max chart says, survey says, September 10th, 2025. So literally like 6 days ago, CoinGecko started tracking it. They're usually pretty good about catching it. Has an Ethereum contract, and it is a layer 2 on Ethereum. Kind of familiar with Polygon, is also a layer 2. So how do they differ? How do they compete with each other? I don't exactly know. Let's check out their website real fast. See some people jumping in. Welcome to the Underground Crypto Deep Dive Show. Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Monday through Friday, we're doing these research deep dives. Raise that crypto IQ. So building layer 2 where Ethereum wins. And they have this narrative where all over the website, they just say where Ethereum wins. So they're very much wanting Ethereum to kind of regain some of those position in the market where a lot of people have lost hope in Ethereum. We went over this quite a bit yesterday. I don't think it's worth clogging up too much time because we definitely want to get to the narrative here. So here's one, Hemi. Hemi is not one that I'm familiar with yet. Must be new to the trending. Up 204% on its max chart. August 29th, 2025. So very recent. $60.7 million in its market cap. Still pretty small. And this is what Deep Dive into Research is all about. We're looking for new coins that are on the come up. BNB Smart Chain, Hemi, looks like it is a layer 1 because it has its own contract, and Ethereum smart contracts. So modular blockchain. I want to say modular Bitcoin, no, but modular blockchain. Okay, BTC-Fi protocol. Maybe it was just my intuition, right? Binance Wallet IDO. So what is this thing? It's got a .xyz, XYZ that is, website, and it doesn't want to let me go there. Let's go to their Twitter. How much market cap did it have? 60 million. All right, up 204% on the max chart. So the future of Bitcoin is programmable. Hemi is the network that's scaling Bitcoin beyond money. So now in the last couple of days, I think this is important, right? We got to put this in the back of our mind. In the last 2 or 3 days, a lot of Bitcoin DeFi projects I've seen trending, right? Very interesting. Pin post got 41,000 impressions out of their 286.5 thousand followers. Very interesting. Bitcoin Conference Asia was the perfect backdrop for Matthew to speak about the future of Hemi, scaling Bitcoin beyond money, and BTC-Fi, or Bitcoin Fi, amongst thousands of Bitcoiners to companies and good friends. Very interesting that we keep seeing so much stuff about Bitcoin Fi, Bitcoin DeFi. So keep that in your mind. That narrative is probably heating up without a doubt. SPX 6900, Hive AI. I haven't seen that one yet. How many people like to see what's trending? How many people wish I would just get to the narrative already of today? Put that in the comments. If there's any coins you want me to look at, put that in the comments. We'll deep dive and research, but never financial advice. I won't tell you what to do with your money. So this is ticker BUZZ, or Buzz, which makes sense. It's Hive AI. There's a couple of these kind of, Hive is geo mining coin. So there's a couple of these with these very similar ideas and tickers. So it's a Solana contract. It says AI, so it's got to be AI, right? Decentralized finance, AI agents, Pump.Fund ecosystem, Binance Alpha Spotlight, and Def AI. which is like DeFi with AI kind of shoved down the end of it. I've been seeing that a lot, where before I wasn't seeing that, term. Now I'm starting to see it everywhere. That is a good notification. Bufflink, what's up, man? He said, I hit the like button. Have you? Hey, that's a great question. I'm glad I'm not the only one saying it. And what's up, man? I don't believe I've seen you in here before. Very glad to see you hop in. We're raising our crypto IQs. So the Hive, a modular network of interoperable DeFi agents. So this is all about AI agents. We're looking at what's trending for anybody who's just hopping in. Multiple agents, interoperable protocols, zero friction. We are building the intelligence layer for crypto. Interesting. I have seen this narrative before, so I don't think they're the first to do it. Had a Solana blockchain contract. So modular, build and customize your DeFi experience through using various AI agents. I'm going to go ahead and write this one down because this might be worth looking at later. Seamlessly connect and interact with various DeFi protocols. Sub to the channel, Crypto Maniac said, hey, I appreciate it. That's the best thing. Hitting that like button and subbing is one of the best things you can do for a new upcoming channel. And I love to dive and research crypto. It keeps me ahead of the pack. This is what I would be doing regardless. I really wish that they had a channel that did this, and there wasn't one. So I decided to step up to the plate and do it myself. This thing is interesting, but I don't see a lot of, information here. I like when they get right to it. Like they're just like, about us. This is what we do. I mean, I guess they did, but just as modular, interoperable, intuitive. So they do have some frequently asked questions. All right, what is Hive? The Hive is the modular network of interoperable DeFi agents enabling on-chain transactions and interactions using natural language. Okay, I think that was just repeating what they already said. And we'll be moving on. I am interested to see how long this thing has been around. January 7th, 2025. Your thoughts on Zebek or ZBCN? Let's pull that up real quick. Since you're here and you're asking about it, I do know what it is, but I'd like to have it up and have it fresh so I can give you, my best opinion of the project. $374 million in its market cap. Max chart says it's been out since April 16th or 14th, 2024, sitting at 0.004 cents. Up 71% on the max chart, number 230 by market cap, if you know what that means. Looks like 100 billion in max supply tokens, circulating tokens 86.3 billion. So contract address is Solana. Solana definitely the right place to be. And let's look at its categories, right? Because that's really important. So you have DeFi. Rave Song Records, what's up, man? You're back again. I really appreciate you supporting me and the channel. It means the world to me, man. Thank you very much. So we have real world assets, and this is Zebek coin. Make sure I'm saying that right. Yep, this is Zebek network. Now, this one has been really popular. I think this is definitely one to watch. My mentor has said a lot of good things about it on his stream. Payment solutions, DPIN. Do you know what DPIN is? Speaking of crypto IQ, did a full stream on that. That is DeFi infrastructure. Coinbase venture profile. Okay, it's in a bunch of profiles. RWA protocol, and of course it has the made in the United States tag. It's been really popular. I really think that this is one to keep on your radar. Decentralized infrastructure network for seamless flows of real world value, that RWA narrative, changing the way money moves. Around the world, blockchain technology is being adopted at a rapid pace. Zebek is helping to create a future where money and value moves more freely, giving individuals, businesses, investors, and teams faster and easier access to funds and tokens. So they have some cards that go with it. You can get the silver, you can get the black, reloadable, and limitless. DPIN network, interoperable blockchain infrastructure, and Zebek POS device. Looks like they say they have 50,000 monthly users on and off chain. Oh, and they also had payrolls. Yes, we looked at this before, and they had enterprise clients. So one thing that I said yesterday, and I'll probably say till I'm blue in the face, when you're thinking about investing or speculating on a coin, one thing to think about is where's the money coming from and how is it getting into the market cap? Because if the market cap doesn't grow, the coin's value doesn't go up, unless they're like burning tokens without putting money in the market cap. But usually it's money coming into the market cap. So I love to see that they are doing payroll for different enterprises. That means money coming in because those companies are going to pay them to do that. So I like that. Look at the airdrop and tokens integration. Welcome to our official hub to claim airdrops and rewards when campaigns go live. Check your eligibility. So if you've been doing anything around this, maybe you could farm some airdrops. Farming airdrops can be a real hassle. You really need to know what you're doing. There's airdrops all over the place. How you actually qualify for them can be totally different. Sometimes projects fair launch and they just drop them in your wallet. You never asked for it. You're not even really sure if these coins are legitimate. So be careful what you click on, from NFTs to random, coins that are donated to you. Let's launch their app real quick. Choose the Solana network. I don't have something connected to this, although they want me to. Can I look at it without connecting? I don't want to connect to this. I'm a little weary about what I connect to because I'm going to so many different websites all the time. Kind of reminds me of how, and I'm going to back out of this, every project has their own wallet. So if you're looking at a coin and you're not sure, is this a real coin? Is this a scam coin? I wouldn't download their wallet. I prefer, and then also on top of that, who wants to have a different separate wallet for like every single coin? We don't want that. We want to be able to support an ecosystem and have a wallet with all of those coins in it. That's my opinion. Who wants to manage that many seed phrases? It gets a little ridiculous. Anyways, to answer your question, I think Zebek network is pretty cool. I think it's doing really well. Look at this nice pump from April 22nd, bottom at 0.009, all the way up to June 1st 2025, 0.0067. So it literally dropped a zero in that time period there, and then it looks like it's flagging out. There's a measured move there. If you know, you know. I know my lifers know what I'm talking about. So airdrops scare me, yeah, and they kind of should. Now, can you do really well? Airdrops, I feel like, shouldn't scare you if you're intentionally mining, or intentionally engaging with the community and all the different things that they've told you to farm the airdrop. But even then, I would use a separate wallet, a brand new wallet that you don't have any other money in. And that way, if whatever you get airdropped is a bunch of junk, it'll suck all the money out of your wallet that you had for other stuff. All right. So let's go back, and we ran 2 hours yesterday. It was such a good stream. Says you don't have super chats. Thanks for checking. Yeah, absolutely. We're a new up and coming channel. I don't have super chats yet, but they will be on the way because we're not stopping. We're going to keep going because I love to do this regardless. I love to see that Somnia is still trending. I didn't see it for a couple of days, so it's back on there, and it is a GameFi layer 1. Yep, layer 1 GameFi blockchain. Was also a Binance Alpha Spotlight. Start to kind of put that together. $210 million in its market cap, up almost 200% on the max chart there. Looks like it came out about September 2nd, 2025. A lot of new coins on the radar, and a lot of them look legitimate and good. This Undead Games is really interesting. I wonder how long we will see that trend for. Now let's go to our top gainers. Top gainers, top losers. Crypto Maniac put lemons. When life gives you lemons, you start a YouTube channel and you deep dive cryptocurrencies. I don't think that's how the saying goes. So top gainers, looks like we got Hejik, which I'm not familiar with. It's up 68%. Of course, this STBL, and that's why I had to make a reel of it just before I went live, because it's doing great. It was up 284%. Now it's up 323%, and it's just a stable coin project. So I don't know what the buzz is, but somebody thinks it's going to do really well. It just launched today, might be part of the hype there. So Hejik, And I think it's just really important to know when you look at a project, especially a new project, what it is. Is this project new? I don't know. September 16th, 2020. So this project is not new. Right as I was talking about new projects, this comes up. It's not new. $75.3 million in its market cap. And it makes you wonder, such an old coin. Look at all this price action in the beginning here. And then you just see just dismal, just sold off, done absolutely nothing since then. Of course, we had a bear market and stuff. So like, don't be too hard on it, but you never know. Charts like that, a lot of projects have charts like this, but a lot of times these projects are never coming back. So let's look at its categories real quick before we even give the website a chance. Exchange-based token. Okay, I don't know why my mind wanted to read that like 5 different ways. Decentralized finance, derivatives, options. So this is a derivatives one. So is this coming up on the MyX or the MYX token that did really well? Someone in the chat the other day was talking about this AEVO, and they were saying it was very similar to MyX. Maybe I'll pull it up in a second. And I'm wondering if this HEJIC is getting a bit of buzz off of that same idea. Let's go to their website. One-click options trading. Stay anonymous, trade freely, and enjoy zero fees on HEJIC. Who would have thought that decentralized perpetuals and, trading platforms were going to blow up around this time, and why? Why is the money flowing to these things? It must just be demand would be my first thought would be that there's demand for it, so people want it. It's got an Ethereum contract, Arbitrum, Energy, and Phantom. I keep meaning to go check out this Energy layer 1. I don't know anything about it. But anyways, that seems to be why that's pumping. But it's like an old project, just like coming back from the dead. Personally, I don't think I would be overly bullish on it. That's just speculation in the market, and you don't know when they're going to dump it and run to the next thing. So you have this test, which is up 55%. Let's check that out. Ooh, max chart down 67.9%. February 7th, 2025, $41.4 million in its market cap, and this is TST or test. It is trending today. Binance Smart Chain contract. And how's the music, everybody? Is it too loud? Is it not loud enough? Let me know. If the song comes on, I can't hear the music, by the way. So if it's a song that's really lame, just let me know and I will skip it. So this is a meme, which is kind of what I thought, but it did get Binance Alpha Spotlight. I got to look at this Binance Alpha Spotlight thing. I haven't in a very long time. Are they just spotlighting every coin? Seems like everything we click on. 4.meme ecosystem. And let's go check out the website, testtoken.vip. TST is a test token deployed by BNB chain on 4.meme. What does that mean? I have absolutely no idea. Well, I kind of do, but what's the point of it? The TST token was originally deployed on BNB chain as a test token for a video tutorial daemon stating how to launch meme tokens. Okay, so it had something to do with teaching people how to launch meme tokens. So they made a meme out of a test coin that was about launching meme tokens. I'm good on that. My intuition says run, and the chart looks like run as well. Somebody thought they had a bright idea. I'm gonna pass. That's my personal opinion. I'm not an advisor. Crypto Maniac says sounds good. So Bufflink says, what's your favorite coin to DCA into for the next leg up? Well, that's a loaded question, all right. And by the way, everybody, Discord link in the Discord. A lot of these questions that you're asking, if I'm ever obviously not live, it's the weekend, you want to ask some questions, very small Discord. Great place to ask these kinds of questions, although I encourage you to come to the live and ask them as well. So to DCA Aerodrome, it depends on risk level. So anytime somebody asks me, what coin should I buy or whatever, obviously I can only tell you what I'm doing and I can't give you financial advice. I don't know anything about your life and I'm not a financial advisor. With that out of the way, for me personally, at about a low to medium risk, I would say Aerodrome, deep book. Now, if you want to go real high risk, that's totally different. I would give you different options. So Keaton Bailey, man, I've seen you here a few times. I appreciate you coming back. Maybe slightly too loud, but don't worry about it. I can inch it down just a tad. Let me know if it makes a different Keaton Bailey. It's like I want it to be there, but I don't want it to be overwhelming. So let me know if that makes a difference. I turned it down just a little bit. Reliable J says, "'Tis the season for alts to rip." Hey, tomorrow's the big day, guys, as far as I'm concerned. Rate cuts. Crypto Lifer seems to think we might get a double rate cut. I don't know, but I think that would be absolutely awesome because it would send this market into an absolute frenzy, and altcoins would run for sure. So Safecoin, Synth. I don't want to look at every single one of these. Muda, Barack, Everscale. I don't know. None of these are really catching my fancy there, and I don't really want to spend the entire stream on this. I want to get to our narrative of the day. So OpenX AI. Let's check that out. It is the top loser, and I didn't see it trending yesterday, but it has, look, the max chart 234%. So of course it's had some pullback from September 13th, 2025. And what did it come out price wise? 37 cents. $124.8 million in the market cap. Anybody, if you made a comment and I missed it, feel free to throw it back up. Somebody said something about a doorbell. Like the doorbell. Okay. Oh, that was Reliable J. Cool. So Base Blockchain is the contract for this OpenX AI. Now, there has been all kinds of coins, you know, people trying to make X coin, Amazon coin. I don't know if that's related to any of this, but it's just what it reminded me of. Categories has no suggested categories. Very interesting. They do have a YouTube community under communities, so that's very interesting. Not every coin has a YouTube channel, and I don't understand why, because man, that would help with a lot of the confusion if they'd put out content in an audible, visual, you know, video format to explain things. That would be great. So the open and borderless AI network. I have heard this narrative many times. The internet made information open and borderless. Bitcoin made money open and borderless. OpenX AI makes intelligence open and borderless. Launch now. Let's launch it, see where it takes us. Build and deploy AI agents in 5 minutes. All right, they have my attention now. I'll go ahead and write this one down because when you make a claim like that, I got to check into that later. I have so many things to take a look into and not enough time in the day. But anything I do come across and look at is going to be probably put in the Discord, if not brought up in the next, you know, live stream. So can you really build? Let's click build now. I don't normally do this, but let's check it out. DeepSeek, GPT, Mixtrack. All right, so this gets really technical, really fast. And I don't want to spend too much time because what I really want to talk about today is Launchpads. So that will kind of wrap up our beginning of the stream. And there's just a lot of new things trending and stuff. So it took a little while. Oh, crypto rank. Let's just check this out real quick. Is anybody in a hurry? You guys have time for some deep dive and some research? I know I got time. Trending crypto. After I just said I'm super busy and don't have enough time. Also true, but this is what I love to do. So we're just going to check. They have top 20 searched in the last 7 days and the 20 most visited coins in the last 7 days. We're just going to see if we see anything here that really stands out to us. This all looks like stuff that we've been over a ton. Now, if you're new to the channel, maybe it's stuff that you haven't seen before, but just hang out and keep coming back and you will know what all of these coins are. Bio Protocol we went over yesterday. Falcon Finance, that's one I don't know what it is and it sticks out to me, so let's take a look at it. Falcon Finance, where is the website? I'm not as familiar with crypto rank as I am CoinGecko. So Falcon Universal Collateral Infrastructure, lending with innovation, security, and yield. So I haven't said this in a little while, but underground crypto, we are always talking about categories, narratives, and niches. You might know categories decently well, but do you know niches, right? So this is right off the bat category. It's as in decentralized finance because you have collateral and infrastructure for that collateral. So here's some TVL, 1.8 billion. USDF, so Falcon USDF, that's probably within their ecosystem there, minting and staking. With these type of projects, although they are very useful, I feel like I see the same information over and over and over with decentralized finance. Unlock your liquidity with Falcon Finance. But they're useful. When you have an ecosystem, you're going to need stuff like this. And when you don't have it, you definitely know. If you've ever tried to bridge stuff from, say Ethereum to Binance Smart Chain or back and forth, and you couldn't find a bridge, or you were new to the stuff and you didn't even know that's what you needed, then the infrastructure being there is a big deal. And when you finally are able to find that bridge and move your money and it's safely on the other chain and you can do whatever it was that you really wanted to do, you start to understand why infrastructure might not be sexy to retail, might not be the coolest thing to retail, but is very necessary and needed. And with that said, there's a swap where you can swap some things. I don't see a bridge, and we're off of this. And we're going to get to our main subject of the day because I just feel like taking a little too long here at this point. So yes, I use ChatGPT many times. I'm not going to hide it from you guys because transparency is key. I could throw up another page and then try to read this and sound like some kind of genius. I know what launchpads are, but I wanted this put together in a way that really, gets straight to the point for you guys. So what crypto launchpads are and how they work. A crypto launchpad is a platform that helps new blockchain projects raise funds and build communities before launching publicly. They connect startups with early investors, often through initial decentralized exchange offerings, IDOs, or token sales. Many launchpads provide vetting or selection, reducing scam risk by screening projects. So if you have a launchpad that you like, then you should trust that they're going to cut the scams out and give you good tokens, right? Community access, early users get in before exchange listing. So originally when I started this was all about underground crypto, and the whole point of underground was tokens and projects, same thing really, whatever you want to call them, that people didn't know about, right? And I was using really, really small exchanges. Exchanges are not all made equal. It's a big difference between Coinbase to say KuCoin, which are big exchanges, to maybe Weeks or the KSEX, which is KCEX. Centralized exchange, and those are smaller. Bitmart, maybe more in the medium range, was a very small one, maybe starting to move up. But the whole point is, if you can get in before it starts hitting exchanges, you are early. In my opinion, you're not going to 100x a coin if you wait till it's on Coinbase to get a hold of it. It may require you to know how to use a MetaMask wallet, use a decentralized exchange. So with all that being said, very important about launchpads getting in early. Support services for the actual projects that are launching, marketing, advisory, partnerships, all stuff that you would want a project that you're invested in to have. They work like Kickstarters for crypto, but with blockchain native tools like token and smart contracts. Why launchpads are critical for Web3 project funding. And this is really a big part of why we're even talking about this, right? So instead of relying on venture capital firms, projects can raise directly from their community of users and investors. And a big reason why I think this is so important is because those are probably people who believe in the project, not big VCs who have no real interest in crypto. They throw $2 million in a project, it's up 10x from the day of launch. 2 million into 20 million, they're selling on you. They don't care about the project. They're not about crypto or decentralization, blockchain technology. And so getting some of those people out of projects can help have a steady price and an upward trajectory versus comes out, dumps heavily, people get terrified, and momentum is lost. Anyways, launchpads democratize access, giving regular investors a chance to participate in early stages. They bootstrap ecosystems to raise funds and build early user bases at same time, and having a launchpad, again, vets some credibility. So what are the top launchpads? Now that we've explained what launchpads are, again, we're raising our crypto IQ. If this seems techie and you're sitting there holding your head like this is too much information, slow down. A lot of this stuff is not as complicated as it seems, and the pulsing in your head is just your crypto IQ going up, right? So don't run away. So the top launchpad platforms are Binance Launchpad, one of the oldest and biggest, backed by Binance's massive user base, known for successful token launches like Axie Infinity and Polygon. If you don't know what Axie Infinity is, you probably haven't been in the crypto space for that long, but that's okay. We still love you. DAO Maker, popular for retail-friendly fundraising models and community governance, strong track record with multiple projects. Polkastarter, which is a launchpad for Polkadot, focus on multi-chain IDOs, big in the 2020s to 2021s. I mean, Polkadot really has fallen out of relevance, and if you've watched this channel before, you would know that I'm very happy about that. Cetify.fun, a growing player in the GameFi and metaverse space, and Binance Smart Chain Pad, one of the first decentralized launchpads on chain. So from there, we're going to break up a lot of this information because I just shot a ton of information at you really fast, and we're gonna go to actually check out some launch pads, so maybe the more interesting and funner part of the stream for you guys. But first, I need to get something to drink because I am talking, feels like, at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Somebody in the comments let me know, do I talk too fast or do you think I talk too slow? Because I can't tell. Can you keep up? Do I need to slow it down or do I need to speed it up? I think it's funny when I'm reading websites, if I read as fast as I can, I usually don't mess up as much. So Pump.fun, obviously a Solana launchpad. I mean, responsible for tons of tokens that you're familiar with getting up off the ground. Market cap 2.7 billion, not surprising. This is not a small nor new project, but we'll look at the max chart anyways. July 14th 2025. So I guess by that you could say it is a newer project, but they've just done so much and been so involved in the Solana ecosystem, it don't really feel like a new project, at least in my opinion. And let's check out their website. Now the website is gonna be a launchpad, of course. So expect that already. So our category is Launchpad. And they want to bombard you with cookies, I guess. We'll accept the cookies. So I want to be able to see the website that I'm trying to explain to you. So with the Launchpad comes a bunch of coins. Now, one thing that has to be addressed and has to be stated is, in a world where anybody can make a coin, from the tech savvy, business savvy crypto entrepreneur to your local drunk at the bar that you frequent on Friday, all of those people and everybody in between can make a meme coin. So it just really muddies the water, and it sucks a lot of liquidity, because before we didn't have access where everybody could make a coin. And so money was a little bit more diverted into certain projects and not just thrown randomly at the wall or in the trash can like it feels like with meme coins. And if it feels like I'm hating on, you know, Launchpads, people making their own coins, a little bit, I don't hate it. I think it's cool. Everybody should, I believe in freedom. So, you know, everybody should have the option to make something. But of course, real hood shit. I mean, who wants that coin? I don't want that coin. Cuts, you know, one for haircuts. If you have a community, if you have a reason for making a coin, it's kind of cool. Friday beers stream. So, you know, maybe they have a community and maybe this is a coin for their people. That's really cool. But other than that, I don't know. But anyways, that's not the point here. This is about Launchpads, so I won't harp on that too much. Live stream. So it looks like Pump.fun has live streams as well. So all these people live streaming. Should I be live streaming on Pump.fun? I don't think so. I don't think I want to do that, to be honest with you. And we don't know what we're going to see over here on live streams. So for the sake of YouTube, we're going to get off of that, if you know what I'm saying there. It was getting a little risque. And so this is just very native, you know, very community driven. And you can see everything from pregame to what looks like some more risque stuff. Going parabolic coin. I mean, you could just make whatever. And we could spend a ton of time checking these out. But again, that's not the point. And you can click here, you go to create coin. Again, although we're talking about Launchpads, if you'd like, feel free to throw something in the chat. We'll take a look at it. It's the benefit of this being a small channel, so take advantage of that. And you just put in the coin name, the ticker, description. I mean, we can make one live right here. You can upload an image. It's kind of the thumbnail, and you just click create coin. and you're there. I think you probably have to put some liquidity up, but I don't even know if you have to put liquidity up anymore. 101-year-old pump fund live streaming grandma, I guess, if you're into that. So anyways, this is the biggest one. This is where you're going to see the most stuff at, because who doesn't know about pump.fun? And I haven't spent a ton of time on pump.fun's website, surprisingly. So I feel like I'm all over almost every crypto's website. Let's see what else we got. So Radium, or Ray, also a Solana-based launchpad, sitting at $3.22 with $863.9 million in the market cap. So our list is put together by market cap. We just went from 2 point something billion, I think it was 2.7, and now we're already out of the billions right as we go into number 2, and that's 863.9, call it $864 million in market cap. See if they have any good tags here. Yield farming, everything you would expect. Launchpad. And let's check out their website. Now, most of these are probably going to look very similar, and it is fun to kind of interact and look at them. This one doesn't look as chaotic and messy, which I appreciate. FAFO, whatever happened to that coin. Launch Labs, which says new. Is this where we can see all the new coins that are launched? Multi-AI agent system. And again, you could just spend all of eternity looking at all of these different tokens. They do definitely look like they're telling you what's a little more popular. They need a rating system and stuff like that. Kind of like Cookie.fun is for AI agents. You know, are AI agents going to be the new make your own meme coin where anybody can launch that? OpenXAI, where anybody can launch an AI agent in 5 minutes. Again, probably gonna muddy the water. At least with AI agents, people really expect some kind of value, some kind of something. It scans, social media for the next big trend or something like that. With these tokens, I don't think anybody really expects anything except for the price to go up, and I mean, how many of them really do? Like this coin here has $4.2 thousand in it. This one has $4.1 thousand in it, and I'm sure that we could search, I should say, by market cap. So what's like the biggest market cap over here? We have PAW, which was made 20 days ago with $155.9 thousand in it. So does that kind of become the winner? Is that the best one on this platform? Maybe we could do this on each platform, right? And we could see which one we think could be a potential winner, because this is almost like an incubator, if you want to think of it that way, where things kind of, rather make it or they don't make it. Sink or swim, right? So keep an eye out for this PAW. We'll keep it on the radar and see if it ever does anything else. And they have a swap where you can easily swap in and out of these tokens. I'm sure they have liquidity of the actual token for you, which I think is another value of a launchpad. So real quick, we're going to look at a lot of these, but I'm just going to read some of them, right? So just, you can start to connect, raise the crypto IQ, but connect the different projects to the fact that they are a launchpad. Metaplex. Metaplex is one that I bought a long time ago, and this is a great example. I bought Metaplex a really long time ago. I didn't know it was a launchpad. Had no idea. Toshi is on Base blockchain. I bought some of this and I didn't know it was a launchpad. It was more like one of the top memes on Base blockchain. Gems VIP, I've never heard of that. Launchcoin on Believe. I keep seeing this Believe ecosystem around. ChainGPT. Palau is an old one from back in the day. Didn't know it was a launchpad. So this is not just for you guys, not just me standing up here trying to look smart and tell you guys a bunch of stuff. We're a community and we're really deep diving together, and I'm learning every single day as I'm on here as well. TokenFi, another coin that I bought that I didn't know was a launchpad. And then we start to get down into some stuff that, of course, I've never heard of. So let's get back to where we were. Let's look at Metaplex. Not just because I own a little bit of it, but I have no problem saying that I own a very small amount of it. And its, price has dropped quite a bit, so that small amount has gotten smaller. September 19th or September 20th, 2022 is the max chart on this thing. and $254.9 million in market cap. Has a Solana and Binance Smart Chain contract. Let's go down. GameFi. So very involved with GameFi. It's a launchpad, NFTs. I mean, what do you really need, though, to be considered a launchpad? Just some infrastructure to launch coins and projects on your website, I guess. FTX Holding. I don't really know if that's a good tag to have. Maybe that's why this thing hasn't done much in a while. Let's go to their website. And already a lot of these look very different from one to the other. So launch tokens and NFTs on Solana, the SVM. So you usually see EVM, Ethereum Virtual Machine. This is talking about Solana Virtual Machine. It's a nice change of pace there from what I normally read. Metaplex powers thousands of applications and communities, supporting one of the largest blockchain developer ecosystems in the world. Metaplex is the leading protocol for creating assets, building securely on chain, and delivering web scale performance for users. So right now in the chat, anybody who's watching, hey, watch, it's so funny I said watching right when I read Watchman 24. Glad to see you're back. Let me know in the chat what you think about launchpads, what you think of this narrative. Is this bringing value to you? Do you think that this is worth knowing about? You know, again, a big point of this is if you get in early with a launchpad that's launching tokens and you get something that's a project that's real, not just stupid meme coins that other people are making, you have a much bigger potential getting in before exchanges to actually make some return on investment, aka price go up. So let me know how you guys feel about that. Could use a little bit of feedback. I do pick these categories based off of what I think is interesting. So create tokens and NFTs, we already went over that. Build quickly and securely on chain. Query on chain data. It's a fun thing to try to balance between the information and not, you know, overwhelm you or get overly techie and still make this a fun thing to watch. So Metaplex's digital asset standards are fundamental to the Solana ecosystem and have been key in enabling Solflare's seamless wallet experience with a significant amount of Solflare transactions powered by Metaplex. Our partnership helps simplify the creation of impact consumers' experience on Solana. Very interesting because I actually bought Metaplex on Solflare. Is anybody familiar with Solflare? It's a wallet on Solana. Has anybody ever used Solflare? I would like to know. Stay up to date with the latest Metaplex insight. So this is Metaplex. One thing you don't see that we saw on all of those other websites is just tons of tokens that are being, you know, created. So maybe if we go to get started, it'll take us to where everybody's dropping the tokens. What's your project name? Underground Crypto. As I type like a 5th grader. All right. What's the description of your product? And I'm not actually going to get into this. I just wanted to see where this was going to take us. 777. Who's your project's point of contact? Me. And I'm obviously just BSing this because I'm not going to go any farther with this. Oh, and I can just scroll. What's the link? Okay. So that's enough of that. I'm not actually going to create something right this second. And I see the chat is slowed down. It's all right. I'm not trying to demand anything out of you guys. But I do love when everybody interacts in the chat. Makes it really feel like the community is growing. And, you know, that vision you set out on when you create a YouTube channel is coming to, you know, fruition. So Toshi. Toshi's a cool one. I mean, again, it was really more of a meme coin, but I do like that they have a launchpad aspect to it. $253.9 million, call it $254 million in its market cap, base blockchain, and a Binance Smart Chain contract. Launchpad and what other narratives? It's a meme, cat-themed meme on base memes. So a lot of meme type, you know, category there. So Watchman says, found another coin that's similar to MYX called Woo. It's funny, I don't know if you've been here the whole time, Watchman. We were just talking about a coin that considered itself very similar to MYX. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. What was it? Oh, is this Hegic? So this Hejik is an older project. I don't think it's all that exciting personally, Watchmen, but I did just want to throw it because you brought up the AEVO. I got it written down in my notes from the other day. So I will add this one as well, and then we'll add the one that you're talking about. I will definitely look at that for you. And this one has the same narrative. When you go down to categories, and it's as easy as that. It just comes down to categories. It says derivatives, decentralized finance, and exchange tokens, exchange-based tokens, same thing. And you can quickly see that this has the same narrative. It has, the max chart doesn't look great because it's been around for a while. But if you go to the 24-hour, you can see this thing just went from like 0.4 cents to 0.6 cents just real quick. 70% today. So I think that project is pumping because of the whole everybody's looking for the next MYX. Will that happen? I don't know. So I would love to hear your overview of that one. Sorry, I must need another drink because I can't talk right now. And if I haven't said it enough, I really appreciate everybody who comes and interacts in chat. But make sure you hit that like and subscribe. So he's talking about Woo. Let me get to it before I get distracted on him. Would hate to do that to you, Watchmen. Have you upset with me because I get distracted. I think I've been pretty good so far at not getting totally left field. So Woo, number 439 by market cap with $131.2 million in its market cap. Let's go to the max chart. Max chart says October 29, 2020. So this is another one. I'll write it down as well. This is another one that is an old coin. And what is it up on the 24? Where'd you find this thing at? Because, I mean, this thing seems like an old coin that hasn't done anything in quite some time. A little bit more action later in its chart. 7 days up 4.4%, 24 hours 2.3%, the month down 12.9%. So yeah, Watchmen, I'd really like to know, how did this get on your radar and why do you feel like it's like MYX? Let's go to categories real quick. Derivatives, perpetuals. It's because it's got the same idea. YZI Labs, previously Binance Labs. That's interesting. And it's an automated market maker, which is really important in an ecosystem. And look at all the chains that are supported. This is interoperability at its finest. Phantom, pretty sure Phantom has been rebranded to something else. What is it? Sonic? Is it Sonic? Is that what it rebranded to? I feel like it should say Sonic instead, or whatever they rebranded. So Near Protocol, Solana, Avalanche, ZK Sync, Arbitrum, Mantle, Lena, all kinds of different things. It's what you like to see with a project, though, because that means it's going to pull liquidity from all of those different things. Although it doesn't have a very high market cap, let's go check out its website and judge for ourselves if we think the website looks good or not. Trade how you like. Woo has the perfect tools for everyone: seasoned professional or an aspiring investor, centralized traders, or on-chain design or degens, on-chain degens. WooFi, decentralized cross-chain and basic swaps. WooX, centralized exchange. So they have a decentralized cross-chain and basic swaps, and then they have a centralized exchange as well. WooStake, WooFi, in this financial, decentralized finance or even centralized. Looks like they're on both sides of the coin there. It is a lot of the same words on paper, right? The same narrative, same thing. It's hard to really know which one is better than the other. The website looks pretty good. It looks pretty professionally done, but it's not that hard to get a professional website done. That's why it really blows my mind when coins with huge market caps have garbage websites. Step into the community. How many people do they have over on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it? And that is 19.7 thousand followers. And feel free to follow me, Crypto Ron, with the blue check mark facing the thumbnail, and that's at _ground crypto, because underground crypto was taken. Crypto Ron with the blue check mark. Don't think I have any impersonators, but it's only a matter of time. Pin post has 16,000 views. out of their 19.7 thousand followers. I mean, it's a pretty good ratio. I don't know. It looks like they have a little bit, but that's still pretty small. I mean, it's less than 20,000 views. So, Watchmen, I hope that is somewhat of a good overview. I can't really tell you, obviously what to do with your money, but that wasn't what I was going to say. I can't really tell you if this is a good coin or not, because I have absolutely no idea. The market cap's still small. If you believe in it, that it could get some pop from the whole MYX narrative. But I think MYX as a project really soaked up most of the attention around this topic. Now, is everybody ready to dump it and move to the next thing? Maybe. But are they going to keep the same idea, right? Sorry, my hair drives me nuts while I'm trying to stream. Are they going to keep the same idea? The people who are moving from MYX to the next coin, who are taking profits, are they locked in with their money in that project and they're waiting for it to continue to move? Are they just are these people who only buy derivative and exchange type stuff? You know what I mean? So Watchman says, about to get on the road, but I'm here listening. After this coin, I'd also love to hear about Band, sitting at 71 cents, previous all-time high, $23. All right, I will do Band for you as well. Now, Band is one, I believe, my mentor traded off and on quite a bit. I don't think that there's other ones with the same ticker. So 476 by market cap. Max chart is September 18th, 2019. Came out at about 63 cents. And it went way up, topping out around, see if I can get that top. Yep, $20.86. This is 2021, and has done pretty much nothing since that bear market kicked in, and so on and so forth. So the whole chart altogether is only up like 11%. So $117.9 million market cap, infinite max supply right there. I don't love infinite max supplies. It can work for some projects. Osmosis, I always say that wrong, Energy and Phantom, Ethereum, blockchain, or contract address. Business services, so DeFi, Oracle. Oracle's a good narrative. Binance Launchpad. So speaking of launchpads, this was launched apparently on a launchpad. Good to know. So that's the blues, guys. Hopefully I said that the way it was intended. Gratitude, friend. Glad to be here. Thank you for your time and research. Yeah, absolutely. As the first time I'm seeing you in the chat, I appreciate you dropping a chat. Have you watched a stream before, or is this your first stream? Either way, I'm glad that you're here, and please hop in the Discord as well, and that goes to everybody. Discord link, if somebody could let me know if that Discord link is working, because they're always changing it on me. Unified data layer for AI and Web3. So band right here, AI, Web3, there's your category. Let's see if we can bring the niche into a little bit more specific. So community-driven data platform. Data feeds, connect your Web3 applications to real-time financial data, set up price feeds. There's a lot of reasons why people might want a price feed, like I could have a price feed of like Bitcoin or something up in the corner while I'm talking, There's a lot of reasons why oracles and data are very important to a lot of projects. MemeBit. Enchant your large language models, which is something you use to train AI with. The latest information and updates your AI knowledge with data hunters. Now, you hear so much about AI, right? And these large language models that they train these AIs off of, I mean, you're just as good as your LLM, really. The better your large language model is the better your AI is going to stack up against everybody else's AI. So you have VRF, which is verifiable. What does it stand for? Make your games randomization, verifiable, and manifest transparency with band. That's interesting. I could see that being really useful on, say, like a slot machine, on some kind of gambling where you want to verify on chain that it is actually random and that you're not just taking everybody's money and making everybody lose. So he says, first time, bud. I like you, my man. Hey, I appreciate that. I'm glad that you're here. And we're all about raising that crypto IQ and staying underground and finding those tokens that maybe not everybody knows about, And a big question I always ask is, how many tokens do you have in your portfolio that you bought because somebody told you to buy them, or you saw that they were trending, but you never really stopped to take the time and know what they do, what the category is, or even see which ecosystem they're a part of. Is it a Solana token? Is it an Ethereum token? Is it interoperable, or one that works on both? A lot of people don't know. Band is a native utility token behind the Band ecosystem. Okay, yeah, I mean, we knew that part. So all in all, this has a lot to do with AI. There's your category. And then it has a lot to do with data feeds. There's your niche. So that's very interesting. And I appreciate putting it on our radar. I believe we used to trade this token a lot, but I never actually looked at it. All right, check the chat. Let's do a quick mic check. All right. Mic check, good. And let's hop back to where we were. We were looking at Launchpads. We were talking about Toshi, and I had just opened up Toshi's web page. I don't know why I was blanking on that. I opened up its web page, right? Toshi, now on Coinbase, right? And Coinbase is built on the Ethereum blockchain. A lot of people don't know that. They got the contract address, and of course Toshi is very meme. It's all about this cat. Claim your exclusive Coinbase 1x Toshi. Toshi's 2.0, so they have NFTs to go along with it. I do really believe that this is probably the number one, how to put it, this is probably the number one meme on base blockchain. What's the other one that I really like? Oh man, I'm blanking on it. What is the other meme? Can anybody in the comments, can you put some other memes on the base blockchain that maybe you know? On-chain positivity. So of course it's a meme coin. What are meme coins about? They're about community, they're about artwork, and usually narrative. So Meow DAO. So it used to be enough back in the day to just be a meme coin, but now you need to have some use case, a development that I really love to see in meme coins. So at the core of Toshi's evolution is Meow DAO, a testament to our dedication to decentralized governance and community empowerment. A DAO, or decentralized autonomous organization, allows members to vote on decisions democratically. I don't know if I'm saying that right, and transparently. I know the word that I want to say, but I'm not saying that right. Toshi is transitioning into full decentralized DAO, where holders of Toshi token will have voting rights. Good thing I bought some back in the day when it was cheap. Emphasizing community-driven governance, the Meow DAO signifies that Toshi is more than a project. It is a community initiative that enhances the utility and involvement of token holders. The Meow DAO is not only embracing the ethos of decentralization, but also ensuring that Toshi remains at the forefront of community-led innovation and governance. That was a lot of words. Hopefully you got a lot of takeaway from that. Brett, that is the other one, actually. That's the other one that I meant. I bought some Brett as well. Yeah. Hey, Keaton Bailey, you were on that. You were right on the nail there. So I appreciate you saying that. How could I forget about Brett? I definitely had bought some Brett. Toshi Mart is the one-click social launch and trading platform on the premier meme coin launchpad on Base. And I'm going to pull this up just for a moment. It's this MetaMask profile. Certainly don't think it's going to show you anything I need to worry about. And it's just a tiny little wallet that I have a few things in. So yeah, dogging me. I do have some Brett. I must be on a different... You can see all the coins too that were just airdropped to me. I've never interacted with them. They're obviously not worth much of anything. Dogging me is another one. I was thinking of Brett though, by the way, and I've done a full, deep dive on Brett, which is pre-recorded. For anybody who's in here, I do have a bunch of pre-recorded videos that I've done for a long time. Really been getting into the live streaming, but I'll get back to the pre-recorded deep dives. So Blues Guy, if you don't mind, that's what I'm just going to refer to you as. Have you heard of the coin called SHX? If so, what are your... I can go over what everybody's talking about, so don't be shy. We will get back to the stream. Really the big Stronghold. Okay, I've heard of this. The big takeaway here, reconnection successful. Did we get disconnected? I don't know. OBS just told me we got reconnected. I didn't know we were deconnected. But anyways, the big takeaway from today Launchpad category narrative that we're going over is just getting in early, right? And getting ahead of the exchanges and tokens going a different way of getting funding other than VCs, because VCs always dump and mess the game up. So Watchman says, I'd love to hear your thoughts on Theta. That's one of my long-term holds. Theta was one that I looked at before. I'm going to do stronghold real quick, but I got you, Watchman. Don't worry. I won't forget about you. So SHX, I'm pretty sure it's the right token. Number 482. Sometimes there are tokens with the same ticker, so you can let me know, Blue Sky, if this is what you wanted. The max chart looks pretty great, up 4,823%. Those are the type of gains you love to see. Not many people buy the absolute beginning of a coin, because let's face it, there's 30,000 or more cryptos and there's new ones made every day. I don't even think they're counting all the self-made meme coins out there when they say 30,000 cryptos. So what is our max chart? 2019, April 18th. This thing has been around for a while and still only has $116.6 million market cap. So you said... So Keaton Bailey says, yeah, for a second you were. SHX is a good investment, in my opinion. Not quite sure what you meant by that, Keaton Bailey. And somebody says, how do you feel about XVM? Thank you. Just give me a moment and I will get to that. Nilo, I've never seen you in here before, but I appreciate you stopping by. Make sure to hit that like and sub button for you. Best thing you can do. And Blues Guy said, yes, it was Stronghold. So what were they saying about Stronghold, Blues Guy, if you do want to, throw that? Oh, that it had to do with XLM. Okay. Now I follow. I got our direction here and let's get started. So Ethereum contract address, and it has what looks like it may be its own contract address. No, I don't want to enter a category. Made in US is really the only category we have for this. And let's go to its website, because I think that's going to get us straight to the point. I don't recognize this blockchain, although it looks familiar and I should know what it is. Most tokens store value. SHX creates it. Well, that's a great narrative. Stronghold expanding payment ecosystem uses SHX token as a building block with real-world purpose. A climate-friendly cryptocurrency. Okay, so really interesting. This is a little dated in my opinion. Doesn't mean it's bad, but we see that it was all the way back to 2019, and they're talking about a climate-friendly cryptocurrency. If you've been around, thank you for letting me know you hit that subscribe, and thank you for stopping on by. There is a Discord link in the description. We're building a Discord. It's up and coming, but hop in there for any time you want to ask any questions when I'm not live streaming. But I just want to say that it was really popular. There was a lot of, if you haven't been here in crypto for a long time, they really went hard against Bitcoin for, using too much energy and not being climate friendly. And that's where this narrative really comes from. Was it kind of a BS narrative? In my opinion, yes. So built on the Stellar network. So right there, whatever you were told about XLM is true. So this is that's what it was. All right, that's what I recognize. So this contract here, that's the XLM network. That makes sense now. So I feel like I'm jumping around a little bit. My apologies. SHX is built on the Stellar network, one of the most energy efficient blockchain networks, using the Stellar Consensus Protocol, a low energy consensus mechanism achieved through proof of agreement, which is a different style of blockchain. SHX saves energy with each transaction. So I don't think the narrative of the whole climate and crypto is as popular as it was in 2019. Matter of fact, I don't see it on many websites, so I'm going to go with it's probably not as popular. So I don't really think it has that going for it anymore. So exchange with security and ease. So I guess the real question here as you look at Stronghold is what is going to make this thing popular? So XLM really rides the coattails of cross-border, monetary movement or processing. So just like XRP, I mean, XRP is the big boy there for sure. And yes, Keaton Bailey, it is built on Stellar, and that could be good for it. But are people going to be really excited about XLM's ecosystem? Now, there are people who are excited about XLM. It's a much smaller amount of people than XRP. XRP really stealing the spotlight. These are all my opinions, by the way. These are not, facts. Take it for what you want. But I don't know how many people are really going to move into, XLM's ecosystem. Now, I could be wrong, but I don't hear a lot of stuff about that. Like, here's a good example. We went over what's trending. In the last couple of days, I've seen tons of Bitcoin DeFi coins starting to get traction, which tells me that Bitcoin DeFi is starting to heat up as a narrative. I've seen nothing in the last several months, at least, if not longer, about XLM ecosystem or projects related to XLM. Now, Stronghold, I have heard of it before, so that gives it maybe a little bit more chance in my opinion. Let's go to the month chart. Down 35%. So if you were looking for an entry on this coin, now might be a good time. But in my personal opinion, I think there's probably better things to get into than this token. All right, so let me get back to the chats here. How do you feel about XVM? Nilo. Am I saying that right? Am I saying your name right? I'm terrible at saying names a lot of the time, but I think I got that one. So let's look at XVM. It's the least I can do for somebody who came to the channel and subscribed. So Volt. Now you can let me know if this is the same project. I believe that it is. Let's go to its max chart. I believe we went over Volt a couple of September 4th. I think we did look at this 2-3 weeks ago, maybe. That would line up pretty good. So September 4th, 2025, of course, it only has $14.4 million in its market cap. One thing I really do like about CoinGecko is that I can go from the price chart to the market cap. So I can come to this high here and I can see what the market cap was. So at that point, September 7th, it was at $68 million market cap. So what happened? It dropped. I mean, very quickly. I mean, what day was that? The 7th? So from the 7th to the 9th, it went from 68 to $13 million in market cap. That was a big drop, and it has not really recovered. Now, being a newer project, that doesn't mean this thing is finished. I mean, it doesn't mean it's down and out, right? But that is something to keep in mind. Somebody had a lot of this thing, and they totally sold it on everybody. And they probably made, $20-30 million or more. Keep that in mind. Were they done with it? Did they get out of it? Who's going to pick up the torch and continue on and carry on? So Blues Guy says, awesome, you are fantastic, appreciate your time, so great to have found you, keep it up, we need more like you. Hey man, I appreciate all of those positive words, I really do. Any tokens you'd recommend? I know you probably can't share, worth asking. I mean, I can share stuff that I'm interested in, for sure, and I have one that I have been, talking about the last, week or so, that I just have a really good feeling about, but it's just a feeling, you can't just spend all your money on feelings. So if you do buy any of it, buy very small amount is what I would do. And that is what I did. But anyways, I appreciate you saying all of those awesome things. Let me look at XVM just a little more because we haven't gone to their website yet. It does have a Solana contract and I don't see any other contracts, categories, no categories, just Solana ecosystem. Now, I would say that Solana is the right place to be. So right here you see RWAs on XRP. So supercharging the next generation of RWAs on XRP. Powering the future of real world assets on the XRP ledger. So just as I was saying, I'm seeing more and more coins trending about Bitcoin DeFi. I'm starting to see a lot more tokens and projects launch and be built on XRP Ledger, which is the blockchain of XRP. No, it's not just for cross-border payments. There is a blockchain with smart contracts that you can build on. Matter of fact, the token that I wanted that I was going to tell you I've been talking about the last couple of days is also built on XRP Ledger, and it does have RWAs as along with Launchpad and AI agents and stuff as narratives. So our vision, advancing RWAs for XRP ecosystem. And it makes a lot of sense to have all of these banks and all of these people involved with XRP and then turn around and real world asset project right on the XRP ledger. Makes a lot of sense to me. So we're pioneering in the tokenization of real world assets on both Ripple and Solana network, creating unprecedented opportunities for value creation and transfer. Available on lending markets like Jupiter, Phantom, and Dex Screener. I swear Phantom got rebranded to Sonic. Or am I thinking of something else? I'm probably thinking of something else. So Keaton Bailey says, look at Stronghold's partnership. Nacha and IBM upholds tons of INDAS. It will be bigger than XRP and XLM. So Keaton Bailey is saying that Stronghold could be bigger. He says it will be bigger than XRP and XLM. Okay. I will definitely double back to that for you. Blues Guy says, oh, one more thing if you mind. I hear XRP was seen on the Simpsons as Proton, low market cap, low price. Looks like it's about to pump. All right, so we have some things to go after here. We have some things to look at, but I don't want to sell short on the, the deep dive we're already doing right here. We're looking at Volt, XVM, and its RWAs on XRP. And we will double back to the partnership of Stronghold. I'm not saying Stronghold is garbage or anything like that. I'm just saying that it's been around for a very long time, which does mean they could have been building all along through the bear market and stuff like that. But I just don't hear a lot of rumbles or communication on social media about Stronghold unless it's really picked up in the last couple of days. So that was Volt. Let's look at Stronghold. I guess I could have just typed in the ticker, huh? All right. And he said, look at the partnership. So let's go see if we can find some partnerships for this token. Usually the partnerships are like down at the bottom. So exchanges, you got Bitmart, Stellar Term, Bitrex, but that's not really what we're looking for here. Secure wallets. It is on Ledger. That is good. Get you some cold storage. Liquidity for DeFi, payrolls for development. And let's see if we can find a partnership tab here. About us, social. You can let me know, Keaton Bailey, if I'm missing it here. Support. Yeah, so where are the partnerships? Because you seem to have found them. Resources, products, companies. And I know I'm probably just missing it. It's been a long day. So Blues Guy says XRP, XPR, not XRP. Okay, got you. Thank you again for the deep dive on Stronghold. Yeah, absolutely, man. No problem. And where are their partnerships, Keaton Bailey? Yeah, well, maybe he'll get back to us in a second. I probably should know how to find that quickly, but I'm definitely blanking on that right this second. Can't all be perfect. So he was talking about Proton. Or I guess we'll just go with the ticker he gave us, XPR. The XPR network. I have seen this XPR ticker around for sure. So it's got an Ethereum contract and a Binance Smart Chain contract. No XRP, no XRP ledger. Smart contract platform, DWF Labs portfolio, made in America or made in the US, and governance. The chart, let's see how long they've been around real quick before I say anything. April 6, 2020. So 5 years ago, give or take. And it had a couple large spikes, but price action really hasn't done anything. And, you know, price action is directly related around attention. So this is not a brand new project. $179.8 million in market cap. And now my gears are turning, and I'm thinking of where obviously I could go find the partnerships for Stronghold. Like I said, long day, guys. Blockchain for everyone, powerful, compliant. I do run multiple other businesses, so very demanding. Instant transaction at usernames, zero gas fees, on-chain identity. Supported networks, Dogecoin, Stellar, Ethereum, Litecoin, Hedera, Metal, blockchain. Heard of that a few times. Looks like it's got the whole exchange vibe going on. Metal X. Powerful SDK. Open source. Built for finance, built for trading. So this is in that, you know, financial sector. And it says XPR network. But I really want to see about XRP ledger, or does this not really have any connection to XRP, although they kind of ripped off their ticker? Just going back over the chat here for a minute to reread this chat, make sure I'm, you know, giving you what you want, Blues guy. So he said low market cap, low price. Yes, it does have a low market cap, but I'm not super bullish on this thing because it's been around for a really long time and I don't see the attention. It's easy to buy narratives and it's easy to get excited about different things and hop into them. Believe me, I've done it plenty of times. Very few times has it actually paid off. So I'm kind of done with going over that one. If I missed anything, please let me know. Let's go to the Twitter on Stronghold. So Blues Guy said, yeah, that's what I thought. No attention. Yeah, man. I mean, things come in, they've been around for a while, and then new stuff comes out, promising better promises. You know, they're almost a little bit like politicians in a way, you know, and a newer politician came out, just like a newer project came out within the same niche, in the same category, and they promised better stuff, and people took their money and threw it in that, and they forgot about that project. Just like, you know, that's in the same vein as all these tokens we've been looking at. MYX really was the big winner. Then you had this Hegenic and this AEVO and Woo, which we looked at for Watchmen. And all those are really in the same vein of decentralized perpetual trading, you know, platforms. But there's really only one winner here, and the other ones getting maybe the slightest bit of pop because of the narrative, but are not really pumping the way MYX is. And now why that is, who knows? Probably a lot to do with VCs. So we're excited to announce our institutional partnership with Uphold Inc. Now, if you know what Uphold is, I mean, that is a, you know, exchange, which I've used to be one of the only places you could buy XRP. I'm pretty sure it's where I bought most of my XRP. A global digital asset platform trusted by 10 million plus users with custody of 9 billion plus in assets and 53 billion in transactions. Yeah, I mean, I think we're really quick to forget in crypto. Do you remember when there was a, you know, SEC lawsuit with XRP and like you couldn't buy XRP anywhere on American platforms and exchanges? That really sucked. So Keaton Bailey says there is not that much info on Stronghold. It's all hush hush. Yeah, and that's where you get into, I don't want to say dangerous territory, but you get into some shaky territory because there's this person saying, you know, this is coming, that is coming, and it just gets tons of clicks on social media and stuff like that. And you never know if any of it is really true. Now, you were saying, what were you saying they have partnerships with? Partnership, Nacha and IBM, Uphold, tons of INDAS. It will be bigger than XRP and XLM. Okay. Well, I would love to find, I mean, obviously the Uphold partnership is true, but when they say partnership, you know, what does that mean? They're getting their coin listed on Uphold? It's like you go to a lot of websites, and I found this from deep diving and researching, that you'll see them as partners, you know, to be like our partner, Coinbase. But they're not actually a partner. They're just, their coin is listed on Coinbase Exchange. I mean, in a way, of course, you could argue that they're a partner, right? But Coinbase isn't really promoting them. They're just allowing them to be listed on their exchange. Sure, they're giving them a small vote of confidence, but the days where getting listed on Coinbase would massively pump your coin and give it credibility have died down because there's a ton of coins on Coinbase. I mean, they just launched a whole, you know, kind of decentralized exchange part of them as they got rid of the Coinbase wallet. And that's just something anybody should know. If you had the Coinbase wallet for DeFi type stuff, they've gotten rid of it. If you haven't been on it lately, you should move your assets off of that Coinbase wallet. And that is a separate, it's a separate app. It's not the regular Coinbase exchange. I don't want to scare anybody, but if you haven't logged into that stuff, if you're not the type of person who logs into those type of things weekly, if you had stuff on the Coinbase wallet, you might want to go see if you can move that stuff around. So Watchman said, did you go over Theta? I had tuned out for a bit. No, Watchman, I actually hadn't gone over Theta. We were just looking at a few things that had to do with Stronghold still. We double backed on it just to see what the partnerships were for Keaton Bailey here. But I will do that for you. What is this notification? Oh, Crypto Rover. I don't even really know who that is. So let's go back to trying to keep everything straight. All of a sudden the chat was just popping. I appreciate everybody who's here putting in chats and, you know, feeling like we have a community deep diving together. So let's talk about Theta. So I do know what Theta is. Theta wanted to be competition to like YouTube and streaming. That was the original narrative. Now sometimes projects rebrand and stuff like that. I don't really think that they have, but you don't hear about Theta all that often. Like, not like you used to back when it had come out. So I've been in crypto long enough. I remember when this project came out. So January 23rd, 2018. All right. It's been out longer than I even knew it was out. But so I take that back. I want to be transparent. That was a bit of a misspeak on my half. I don't necessarily have to make that clear, but yeah, I don't think I was in crypto in 2018. But I came in right before the bull run of 2021. So 819 million. And I've told my story before of how I got into crypto. Maybe I'll tell it again at the end of the stream. Also, I do have an XRP Ledger coin that I want to share with everybody. Just need to get through what everybody is wanting me to talk about and look at so that I don't let anybody down here. $819 million in market cap. It's Theta, so you're not going to see another contract address. Let's go down to categories. AI. So they've got AI integrated. They are their own layer 1 smart contract platform, DPIN, which is decentralized infrastructure, blockchain capitals portfolio, and made in the US. So those are our category tags. Those are our niches and categories. Let's go to their website. So I very much remember it being cloud for AI, media, and entertainment. Okay, so they never really dropped that narrative. They just kind of added AI, which seems like a smart thing to do. So agentic, which is a word that you probably should put in the back of your mind because you're going to see it a lot when it comes to AI. Agentic AI for fan fueled by decentralized GPU. And the one thing that I always wondered about Theta, because I would hear that they wanted to be a competitor to YouTube, is do they have a platform? Can I actually stream? Let's go back and see what other websites they have. So Theta cloud.com. Okay, it doesn't want me to go to that website. So top AI labs train on 30,000 distributed GPU nodes, trusted by top universities in US and Asia. I mean, you take their word for it. Remember, a lot of the statements that they make, we are very much taking their word that what they're telling us is accurate. Now, Theta is a big project. I don't think they're necessarily lying to us. So we're impressed by Theta's achievement in blockchain. This is from Google Cloud. So we're impressed by Theta's achievement in blockchain video and data delivery. We look forward to participating as an enterprise validator and to provide Google Cloud infrastructure in support to Theta's long-term mission and future growth. So that just kind of makes me want to come over and take a look at the more recent price action of Google. Now, I don't know when Google Cloud made those statements. Sourced and Sold says, make sure you like the stream to help it grow. Hey, everybody here has been pretty interactive, saying that they liked and subbed, and I love to see that. So Theta is still number 140 by market cap. Now, I've referenced that a lot because I look at this stuff and I don't really know if anybody knows what I'm talking about. I'm sure you do, but you know, the list of by market cap coins, Bitcoin being number 1, Ethereum being number 2, I think XRP is number 3 if I'm not mistaken. And so this is 140. So being in the top, I would say 200 is pretty impressive for Theta. With 819 million in market cap. We did cover that. And I wanted to look at the recent price action. Let's look at the year. So it looks like you had a nice pump from $1 to almost $3. And then since then, we've really pulled back to where we are now at 81 cents. Okay. It's not a TA channel. If you love technical analysis or you want to be a trader, go check out the Crypto Lifer. He is phenomenal and he will not lead you astray. Just throwing that out there. A lot of people who are, you know, over here like Reliable J and stuff, they come from that channel. So ACH Payments, IBM has been partnered with Stronghold since 2018. So since its inception, so that tells you something. I don't know where to find it on the website. Okay, well, that's very interesting. And IBM is a big company. They're the type of, you know, when it comes to big companies, they'll invest in something and have a 10-year plan for it, 20-year plan for it, and not be worried about what it does a year from now, 2 years from now, this bull run, next bull run. So who knows where they plan on integrating that. But for a lot of us, you know, we don't have all the time in the world to wait for a coin to pump. If they have a 15-year plan for it, none of us really want to wait for 15 years to see our money grow. So it might be more of a solid technical thing, but I don't know if it's the best return on investment. But I'm not a financial advisor. So Blues Guy says, okay, Flare Network will apparently stake XRP. Any info? Well, Flare Network is involved with XRP, if I remember correctly. Flare is something that they airdrop to everybody or put in your wallet for holding XRP. There was a lot of controversy about it because if you held XRP on an exchange, like I did personally, the exchange kept all the Flare tokens and they didn't distribute them to you. Now, there were some exchanges that did distribute them to you, but not the one that I was on, which was Uphold, by the way. And maybe even Coinbase. I don't think Coinbase gave them out either. I think they might have had a process and I didn't go through it. Not really sure. So Theta, they have a map here, shows all the live nodes, which is very interesting. What is the biggest one here? Probably over in Europe. And somebody had just said something about Theta, right? Trying to make sure that I really cover everything. But that's great information, Keaton Bailey. I appreciate you coming through and dropping some things here. Like I said, I love to do this. This is what I love to do, but I'm not trying to act like I am smarter than every single person out there when it comes to crypto. Just enjoy deep diving and researching crypto, and I want to build a community of people who are very interested in it so that in the Discord we can bring all of our minds together, right? And we can bring all the information because none of us have the time to deep dive and research everything. It's just not enough time in a day. So let's go look at the Flare network. I don't know what else to say about Theta. Maybe we should go to their Twitter real quick. Let's do that. Because I do want to see how many followers they have. They've been around for such a long time. 276.3 thousand followers. The pinned post says, Android wallet app has been updated. Now fully supports Android 16. Optimized for edge-to-edge devices for a smoother immersive experience. And it got 21,000 impressions. So not very many out of how many followers that they have. You know, how many people followed this way back in the day and have since kind of tuned out from it. And unfortunately, you know, in crypto, you would think that tech would really drive things. It's all speculation and narrative, and there's a lot of people who don't do their deep dive and research. It's the thing we're trying, it's the mission, it's what we're trying to correct. All right, so we got some new chats coming in. Thank you, Keaton Bailey. Watchman says, oh yeah, I learned my TA skills from Crypto Lifer. That 200 EMA is top fire. Okay. Yeah, I've been watching Crypto Lifer for a long time, been in his paid Discord for a long time. That's where I learned how to trade at. And I very much consider him my mentor, you know, because I very much respect the man, and he is doing and making all the moves that I really want to do. So you got to have a mentor in life. I really feel that. So Billy A, who I've never really seen comment in here, but I appreciate you being here, says reposting Watchman's earlier one since I'm interested too. He asked about Woo since it's similar to MYX. Okay, so let's go ahead and run through some of this. Thank you, Billy A. I hope you like, shared, and subscribed. Hit the bell notification and join us more often. But I appreciate you being here regardless of if you do that or not. Let's go to cryptocurrency, or CoinGecko. It says cryptocurrency here. And let's hit this drink real quick. That's what I really need to do. So I'm going to bring up Woo last, right? And we're going to start with this project that I believe Watchman brought up yesterday. So Watchman, you must really be looking for the next big pumper. Make sure I type that in right. Yes. The next big pumper, right? You're really looking for the coin that is going to pump next and carry the same narrative is MYX. That's what I'm gathering from a lot of your chats. Crypto Maniac says, I've been holding Theta for a long time too. And how do you feel about it? You know, from somebody who held it for a long time, how do you feel about Theta? Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to be a smart ass about it. I've held a ton of coins that have not done well, and I've held some coins that have done phenomenally. So I know how it goes. I know what it's like to stay committed to a project. Are you up on it? Are you down? You don't have to tell us any information if you don't want to about how much you hold or any of that kind of stuff. You could just tell us I'm up on it, big, barely, underwater a little bit, underwater a lot of bit. You know, if you could tell us how you personally feel as somebody who's held it for a long time, I feel like that would be helpful to everybody in the chat. All right. Hasn't been great. Yeah, that's kind of what I expected. And again, I hope Theta does big things. I hope they can one day compete with YouTube, but YouTube's a monster. You know what I mean? And I don't mean that in a bad way, YouTube. Don't cancel me. I just mean you're a huge company, and it's going to be hard to compete with them. All right, so let's do what we were doing. So we start with this AEVO, and we're talking about the narrative of decentralized perpetual contracts. So it's its own smart contract layer, it says. But amongst that, you have decentralized finance. It is a Binance launch pool. That's close enough for the narrative of the day, right? And anybody who's watching this later, yes, I put a category together. We did talk about launchpads. I will come back to some launchpads at the end of it. But all in all, this is a community about deep diving and research. Anybody watching this later, I really want to make that clear. And if you come in and interact live, I'm more than glad to go over things and take a look and talk about it together. So it's a layer 2 and it has perpetuals. And the perpetuals and derivatives here is really the underlying key that we're really talking about. So let's go to the website. Trade options, perps, and strategies all in one place. And you can launch the exchange. And so we're going to leave this up because I think once I bring up all these projects, this will really kind of drive home what my point is. So we got it. Perps, perpetuals, derivatives, that's what we're talking about. And let's take a look at the max chart. So AEVO, let's write this down, came out as far as CoinGecko's tracking it, March 12th, 2024. And look at its chart since it came out. I mean, it's just down, 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 tiniest little pump, and then nothing. And I mean, that tiny little pump was back in 2024. It's down 97.1%. Now, 97.1% negative on a max chart or a project is not crazy in the bear market. But we're like 3 months away from the 4-year Bitcoin cycle top of the market. You know, we're pressing on altcoin season here. So could this get a little bit of pump? Maybe. It's up 1.3% in the last 24 hours. In the last 7 days, it's down 4.1%, which means it must have pumped a little bit at one point. But anyways, very dismal as far as price action and attention. So although it is similar to MYX, do you believe that this is going to suddenly, you know, gain 100 million in market cap or something of that nature? So let's move on to the next one that's also very much like it, which is this Hijik, which was a top trender or pumper of the day. I can't remember. I think it was one of the top gainers, 68.6%. And I was saying that I'm pretty sure that this is pumping off of the same narrative that you guys are talking about here. Cryptomaniac says I'm down a bit. I don't exactly know how much though. Understood. And I have many coins that are like that, where I've moved them from exchange to cold wallet to all kinds of different places. And, you know, at some point I'm going to have to do taxes on them, and they're going to be like, well, what did you buy it for? And I'm going to be like, I have no idea. So that's fun. We're going to definitely be getting a professional on that one, right? Hijik. So Max Chart says Hijik came out September 11th, 2020. So this idea of perpetual decentralized exchange is not new in crypto. So let's definitely put that out there. So we have derivatives. I don't even see perpetuals necessarily, but we do see derivatives. And Blue Guy says SHX connect retain enterprise to payments. They will earn SHX token, or retail. He corrected himself. Connects retail enterprise to payments. Okay. And is that something you saw on social media? I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying that you know, that sounds like something they would be promoting on a social media. So we pulled up the website here, or we launched the actual product here, and you can connect a wallet, trade one click, option strategy. And without being connected, I don't know if I'll really be able to see all the different things. So bull spread, bull put spread. They have different, so it looks like ETH and BTC is really all they have. And they still have like USD. Like not even USDC or USDT. It just says USD. And it seems like maybe this is a little bit more for strategies and stuff like that. But anyways, you can compare these here. And you can see this is looking like most centralized exchanges. I would like to make the chart a little bit bigger. It's kind of annoying. But you can see that this is very similar in idea. But this thing is around since September 11th, 2020. And it really has done nothing since 2022. So 3 years of nothing. Then we come into, say, the last month. Let's go 3 months. And you can see out of nowhere it got a little bit of attention. And now it's getting more attention. And then as we move into the month, you can see this pump. And then, of course, a lot of this pump's going to be in the last 24 hours as it went from 0.04 cents up to 0.07 cents. And is it just starting? Like, don't get me wrong, this coin could really just be starting to get a movement, and it could pump to the rest of this bull market. I have no idea. And anybody who tells you they know exactly what it's going to do, you know, we could get something bearish tomorrow when it comes to the rate cuts, and that could just crush everybody's dreams and hopes. And I appreciate you, CryptoManic1776, for being, you know, transparent and sharing with us. That's what crypto is all about. All right, so now to the one that really sparked me doing all of this, which is Woo for Billy A. I hope you're still here. I hope I didn't take too long for you there. Let's go to Woo. Billy A, if you're still here, throw something in the comments so I know that I didn't lose you. I'd feel bad if I took too long for you. All right, now we're going to go look at Woo. And it is max chart. I'm writing down when all of these came out. So this one says October 29th, 2020. And Ethereum contract, a ton of different other contracts, very interoperable. We had already covered that. Does it say perpetuals? Yep, derivatives and perpetuals. So right here in the same vein, again, all the way from 2020. So Hegentic was September 11th, 2020. This is October 29th, 2020. So again, this narrative is not new. I saw a video of Tammy Camp, CEO and co-founder of SHX, talking about it, dated 8 months ago. Okay. And I mean, these projects always have stuff going and are building. XRP, XLM, I mean, they have long timelines. You know, they're not so worried about one bull run to the next bull run. They're building things that are probably going to be staples of finances for the next, you know, when's the last time? When did Swift come out? And how long did it run the financials of the world, cross-border payment, all of that different type of stuff? The infrastructure that they set up was at one time very revolutionary. And now we're setting up a new revolutionary infrastructure for finance built on blockchain. And it could be relevant for the next 200-300 years. Maybe it's relevant for 20 years. We don't know. But it is the next evolution in world finance. That is for sure. My point is they have very long timelines, and even though they're creating stuff and they're very bullish, we don't know how far out. If you're just purely interested in price go up, right? If you love the tech and you want to invest for your children's children, that could be different. Anyways, we're looking at Woo that has the same perpetual and derivatives type narrative. They even have WooX, a centralized exchange, which I don't know anything about. And can we launch their decentralized exchange? So does it look similar? And I'm not really trying to prove anything crazy by saying how similar they all look, because obviously they all have a very similar idea here, right? I'm just trying to say that this narrative isn't necessarily new. And the big elephant in the room, the big question is, why did MYX pump so hard? Why is it getting all of the attention? Did it deliver a better product than everybody else? Did it have the right backers? Did they have better marketing? These are all questions we have to ask ourselves, and I'm not going to pretend like I know the answer to that right off the bat. So let's go look at MYX, because that seems to be the one that everybody's chasing here. And Blues Guy said, she said they have been working behind the scenes, of course. I mean, they all have jobs and they're employed. They're always working behind the scenes. They choose Stellar because it costs less than a penny for 2,000 transactions. Is that cheaper than XRP? I don't know. XRP is very cheap. I've used XRP a ton. I've never actually used Stellar to move money around. But when you use XRP, you'd be lucky if you even pay a penny. So let's look at MYX. And I do hold some of XLM and XRP to be transparent. So I'm not really just picking XRP because I own it or something like that, as far as I think being the more premier one. But there's always going to be a second one that soaks up some share. So I really should have wrote down the market cap of each one of these. That would have been a smart thing to do. But let's see. This came out May 6th, 2025. And we are getting into some real deep dive and, research here. Topped out at about $16.75, has since pulled back to 90 cents and is up a whopping 12,221% on the max chart. Obviously, it was up even higher at one point when it was at 16, and 2.2 billion in market cap. So let's write that down. And I'll post this in the Discord, just a little breakdown for everybody as soon as the stream's over, just so, if you're not really following along, you could look at it visually. There's a few more coins I found that Grok says are similar to MYX, but I don't want to overload the chat with coins. Well, we'll be here tomorrow, Watchmen. We're already running on 2 hours here, but with people here, I just can't say no to the people who are here. Now let's back up. Let's look at Ava. So, I mean, my point here is they all have very similar things, right? We went over this. And let's look at actually MYX.finance. And like I said, maybe they have a much better product. Their website looks sharp, that's for sure. Sharper than the other websites. Maybe not by miles, but definitely a little bit sharper. And then let's look at this. I have looked at it before. All right, so if you were going to trade and you really had to have a decentralized exchange, look at this one. Look at this one. Look at this one. And look at this one. And I almost feel like I'm not doing it justice. I wish I could blow up this actual chart a little bit. But which one would you pick? Which one looks smoother and better to use? I'm going to have to say MYX. Now, does that mean everything? Does that mean the other ones won't pump? No. I mean, they could do anything. People could chase this narrative and really pump everything. Let me go grab the market caps of all of these real quick. Sorry to go back to the same coin so many times. So is MYX a buy right now at these prices? I won't tell you what to do with your money. Personally, my personal opinion, do you understand tokenomics? This is not me telling you to buy anything. This is just more of a general talk about tokenomics. It has a $2.2 billion market cap. If you want to double your money, you put $100 in it today, right now. It needs another $2.2 billion to come into its market cap for you to just 1x, for you to just double your money. So this AEVO's market cap is 86.5 million. So when it comes to tokenomics, you know, you really got to think about that thing. Man, that thing is already moved. It's at a $2.2 billion market cap. What are the odds you're going to 10x your money? Is it impossible? Absolutely not. You know, my mentor says all the time, I have to believe that everything is possible all the time. Because the minute you say, oh, that could never happen, it's impossible, well, then you get blindsided by the thing you thought was impossible. I was going to say something, but I'm not going to touch that one. All right. I don't know if we're ready for that one yet. So this has a 74.7 mil. And let's look at Woo. This almost turned into a stream about derivative and perpetual, projects. But that's good. It gives me a pulse on what people are really interested in here. And Woo actually has the bigger market cap out of these last three at 130.9 mil. I just writing this down and went back so I could put it in the Discord when we're done. So after all of that, AEVO, 86.5 million. Hejik, which is a pumper today, up 68%, 74.7 million. Woo has 130.9 million, and MYX, the one that everybody's chasing, has 2.2 billion. So, in my personal opinion, to Blues Guy, I am not buying MYX. So, if you've been around in crypto for a long time, you learn a lot of times once everybody's talking about something, you know, the smarter move here, in my opinion, is these other coins that you're looking at, what Watchman is talking about, looking for the next one in that narrative. But it really boils down to, why did MYX get all of that money in its market cap in the first place? One, they have a very smooth looking product. Can't really deny that one. So maybe it just was the one that finally delivered the usability. And I believe if we go back here, they have a lot of pairs. Not as many pairs as I would hope that they have, actually. But that's another problem with a lot of decentralized derivatives. You get on there and you can trade like Ethereum, XRP, and Bitcoin, and you're like, well, what about Bretcoin? I want to trade that. So Blues Guy says, man, you're smart. I follow the lifer as well. You got some beautiful positive vibes. Yeah, man, I appreciate all of those kind words. Again, Crypto Lifer has been a huge inspiration to me, and I wanted to create a channel that really complemented what he was doing. I definitely didn't want to try to be a TA channel. Matter of fact, I don't do TA, even though he's obviously 100 times better than me, if not far more X's than that. But just because I respect him so much, I want to build something that complements him in what he does and not something that tries to compete with him in any way. Have the utmost respect for him. I couldn't say that enough. All right, so do I have, and I appreciate all the kind words, of course, Discord link down in the description. Feel free to take a look at that. We're running up on 2 hours of the live stream, and you guys are still here chatting. Means the world to me. I can't wait for this channel to get monetized. Oh, let me share, for anybody who stuck around this long, let me share this coin. And if you watched the last couple of days, you've already heard me talk about it, but I'm going to talk about it again for the people who are new here. So this is XRPT. Now, how did I find this coin? Honestly, somebody dropped it in the chat over on Crypto Lifer's channel. So I went and looked at it because that's what we do. And it only has a $2 million, less than $2 million market cap. Usually something I would stay away from. And I kind of got lucky. The real truth is I put some money into this project. One, because of the deep dive and research that I did. But I had $35 on Bitmart that I had put in Pepe, and it turned into 200 bucks, and I just swapped it into this XRT. But let me talk some sauce here of why I think this thing could make you money. Now, is this going to be the most revolutionary project in crypto? I have no idea. So far, they've done nothing, in my opinion. Now, do they have a cool looking website and some great narratives to speculate on? It's another thing to remember. Earlier, I said, you know, the tech of what they're building is not really related to price action. It can be in some ways, but remember, price action is speculation. A lot of these projects don't have fully functioning products. Some do. A lot of them don't. So this is XRP Turbo. And this will be a good kind of example of what I'm talking about. The XRP ecosystem with AI. So now we're going to start stacking categories, right? We got AI. Powering the future of XRP, hold XRT to create, monetize, and deploy your AI agents. So we have AI, but we also have AI agents on the XRP blockchain, right? You can click here to buy XRT. So XRP Turbo features AI agents and RWA Launchpads. So now we've already moved into RWA Launchpads. I like when a project really stacks a lot of narratives, because somebody could buy this because they're really into AI agents. Somebody could buy this because they really believe in RWAs. Somebody could buy this, topic of the day, what we were supposed to be talking about the whole time, launchpads. Somebody might buy this because they think, hey, if I get into this, I'll be able to be one of the first people to get in on some of these AI XRP AI agents off of this real world assets launchpad, you know, because it says AI agent and RWA launchpad. So they want to be a launchpad for both things. So launchpads get you in early on stuff. When AI agents popped before, a lot of it was going on Cookie DAO. You know, a lot of it was going on different platforms and stuff. So Hyperliquid, I believe, even had a part of that. And so if you want to get in early on them before everybody else, maybe holding XRPT, because when we talked about launch pads, we were also saying, and Blues Guy, I'm going to get to that in just a minute, because where you buy it is a little bit a part of the sauce as well of why I like this coin. It just has all the narratives and things stacking up for it, in my opinion. But I'm not telling you to buy it. I'm just telling you I did buy some. So it's decentralized and permissionless. But what I was getting at is it's a launch pad, and we learned today with what we were going over that launch pads can give you the ability to buy things before other people. So here's the 4 easy steps to get started. You create a wallet, purchase XRP, buy XRT, and stake your XRT to explore the XRT ecosystem. This last one is the one that I kind of need to move on and do myself here, because I want to explore their ecosystem a little bit, but I haven't got the time just yet. But before you go do those steps, there's another place you can buy it. That is where I bought it. XRT token. So here's our tokenomics. So this is one thing I really want to point out about this coin. 100 million total supply. It's pretty small. Now, how many tokens are in a project, if you know your tokenomics, is not the ultimate. You could have 1 trillion tokens. You could have 5 tokens. Well, 5 tokens might not work. Let's say you could have 500,000 tokens or 5 million tokens, right? So the total supply is not the end all be all, but I do like a very low supply. And if Blues Guy, do you understand tokenomics? Should I go into that a little bit more? Let me know. The pre-sale did get 60%. Probably the biggest worry to me is this pre-sale of 60% of the tokens. 20% are in liquidity, 15% are in marketing, 5% are in development. So if this thing does pop, you might see it get sold off real fast when it comes to the pre-sale. I don't know who they sold to. Roadmaps. Now, how many people are familiar with what a roadmap is? It's kind of a project laying out what exactly they plan to do. Right here, they have a very simplified roadmap. But if you go to the top here and you go to their roadmap, their full roadmap, it's actually quite detailed and laid out. Now, I've been to a lot of different websites. I've read a lot of different roadmaps for many projects. Meme coins. You know, I've seen meme coins that have a more straightforward and clear roadmap than some good-looking technical projects, right? I mean, you'll read certain roadmaps and it'll be like, and in quarter 2, we're going to impress everybody with our crazy social media gains. And it's like, what does that even mean? You know what I mean? They'll just be like, we're going to get 5 million users in our wallet. And it's like, okay, but how are you going to do that? Because you have laid out no steps. So my point is, and they have check marks next to the ones that they've done. This thing is super early, in my opinion here. But you see an actual, and you can go read this yourself. You can get this right off of CoinGecko. The token is XRT. And then go to their website and click this. They actually have quite a bit of stuff laid out in their, you know, roadmap. I like to see that. And they got some check marks, so they're checking them off as they go. Very much like to see that. So let's go back. When you use CoinGecko and you scroll all the way to the bottom, it tells you where you can buy a token. So right here it says Bitmart. Now Bitmart is really more of a small to medium exchange. And it is really important crypto IQ stuff here, in my opinion, to know your exchanges and know where they fit in as far as how big or small they are. Because when you go to a coin and you see what they're listed on, if you understand the size of the exchange and stuff, you can kind of get a feel for how far along this is. If we came down here and this thing said it's on Coinbase, we would know it's already moved through all the small to medium to kind of medium, large to the big boy, you know, Coinbase or even Binance. So right now it's really only on Bitmart, which means a lot of people haven't got exposure to this coin yet. Means you could get in early. Now, will it ever do anything? Absolutely no idea. I hope that was a good breakdown of why I'm interested in this coin. Again, it could do absolutely nothing. My $35 that turned into, you know, 200 that I flipped into this. If it doubles, triples, quadruples at the top of the bear market and that's all I get, that's fine. That's fine. I won't be mad about that. I would love to see something more explosive. I'd love to see this thing run up to, you know, 100 million in market cap. That would be phenomenal because I got in at less than 2. You hear people talk about 100xing coins, 10xing, or, you know, 100xing, 1000xing coins. You see this narrative on YouTube all the time. But understand that to 100 or 1000x a token, you had to do some risk. You had to buy a token that nobody was speculating on at the time, because if everybody was already looking at it and buying it, it wouldn't have given you 100x or 1000x. 100x maybe, 1000x probably not. So you really do have to get in early. And my personal, you know, investing strategy and stuff, I use very small amounts of money to catch X's like that. But when you get it, it does a lot for you. And real quick, Bitmart it is. That's my personal opinion. That's what I would use now. If you can move it off of Bitmart somewhere else, which I haven't tried to do yet. Matter of fact, this XRT is like the only thing I hold on Bitmart. I don't use Bitmart a lot. MexC Global is really my favorite place. Not that I'm sponsored by them. Probably should get a link for you guys. And I don't remember what else I was going to say, but I will say real quick, the way that I got into crypto, for anybody who doesn't know, a certain thing happened to the world and everybody panicked and stocks dropped dramatically. Had never really played around in the stock market much, but Robinhood app was very trendy and popular. So I figured, what the heck, I got a little bit of extra capital. I need to learn about investing. I've always been told investing was a smart thing to do. So I dropped some money. I couldn't even tell you how much of stocks I bought, but a decent amount. And they recovered from that pullback, from that, quote unquote scary time. And then I sold them. And when I was taking profits over on Robinhood, they had, 2 or 3 crypto projects. It was like Ethereum, Dogecoin, and I really don't know what else they had. I mean, it might have just been those 2. And as I was taking profits, I kind of just threw a little like somewhere between $200 and $250 in Dogecoin. Dogecoin was at 0.002. Might even have been a little bit lower than that. And I didn't really think anything of it. It did say cryptocurrency. Had heard the word cryptocurrency maybe like 2 or 3 times in my life at that point. And I didn't really pay a lot of attention to it. Next thing you know, we're in the height. We're getting some real traction, what I call like a real altcoin season, something that's more like a myth or a fairy tale at this point. And then I'm looking back at my coin and it's worth, $22,000, $23,000. And from that point on, I was like, I need to know what crypto is. So I got onto YouTube, followed a lot of big channels, and that kind of really began my journey of learning. I, used to watch BitBoy every morning, his BitBoy live show, which was a great show. I mean, so what if he kind of ruined a lot of his own stuff? Maybe he was very wronged in the people who took over his channel. I have no idea what the full details are. I actually have met BitBoy in person. I hung out with him in the Bahamas on a crypto cruise for a week. That was a lot of fun. He's a great guy in person. I mean, I'm not going to speak to whatever else went on with him because I don't know. But just as being around him and hanging, a very genuine, cool guy, I don't really know all the details of all the other stuff. But anyways, my point is, from there, you had what was called Around the Blockchain, which was a show that they did, and Crypto Lifer would be on there. And man, he brought the energy. He knew what he was talking about. His trading style was very different from everybody else's trading style. He drew patterns. He drew flags. He had measured moves for these things. And I just really went to his channel and started following him. And that's really when I decided, like, this guy is going to be my mentor, and I'm going to really follow him, even if he didn't know me. And he lived, all the way in Michigan at that point. I think it was Michigan. Anyways, he didn't live in Florida where I live. And then he moved to Florida. So that was really cool. Anyways, just wanted to tell that story for anybody who didn't know that, I'm not somebody with a ton of money who, just happened to get uber rich off of crypto and just decided to do this show. I'm a real, everyday person. I feel like, what's the best way to say that? I feel like I'm more like everybody else in the aspect of I'm out here grinding and trying to stack those bags and get to the moon, right? I don't know if I said that the best. Anyways, appreciate everybody who's here. Go join that Discord. Hit the like, share, subscribe. Send this to somebody you know loves crypto. If you got some people around you who love cryptocurrency, tell them they need to raise their crypto IQ. Ask them what coins are in their wallet that they don't know what they are. And then encourage them to come over and hang out with us. That would be, my vision and my dream there. And we didn't get that far into a lot of these launch pads, right? So let's take a quick look over at that. And I could do this all night, although, I'd be pretty dead for tomorrow. And yeah, there were so many other launch pads. We will pick this up. The beauty about this is we can always come back to this narrative. We can always deep dive and research. I'll be back tomorrow. It is a Monday through Friday show, but if I am available on the weekends, I will probably do bonus. Friday is our GameFi, play to earn, blockchain, see where we can maybe even make a little bit of crypto, make a little bit of money. But it's also like everybody on Fridays out having a good time. We should be able to have a good time too, even if we're still deep diving and researching crypto. And who doesn't love playing some video games, right? Trying to think anything else. Oh, also links, Grass. If you want to use some of your internet, and they're not a sponsorship. I do have like a link for them, but like it's not like I'm sponsored by them or anything like that. I will always tell you guys if I'm sponsoring or saying anything out of, money that's being given to me, but I usually don't do those kind of things anyways. Grass allows you to take your extra internet. Let me click on something. I don't know if it'll bring it up. It probably won't show you here, but maybe it will. It'll let you use your extra internet, right? It should show you this. And that extra internet it uses for AI, GPU and stuff like that. Yeah, it does show you. Okay, cool. This is kind of the dashboard. And I just, have a referral link, so I sent it to you. And you just mine using your extra internet, and it gives you reward points. Please use my link. Nobody can force you to use my link, but if you're hearing about it from me, I appreciate if you use my link. And yeah, they have a whole referral program, but more or less you can mine it yourself, and there will be rewards for doing that. I'm hoping they're going to give us the actual grass token. I'm sure they will at some point. This is a very new project as well. All right, so I covered that, and I hope everybody has a good night. Crypto Ron out. I will be back tomorrow. What will we be going over? I guess you'll have to just see what comes up on YouTube, because I don't know what we're going to be going over next. Have a great night, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. 2 hours and 15 minutes, and there's still people here watching.